Let's go and visit a company that's made a significant contribution to jobs and investment here in New South Wales. Ferrero makes household favourites like Nutella and Tic Tacs at its factory here in Lithgow. Apart from being specialists in sweet treats, Ferrero feels it has a social responsibility to uphold as one of the world's largest confectionery companies.
The story of Ferrero is interesting. It goes back to a patisserie in 1946 in the town of Alba in the region of Piedmont in Italy. And from those humble origins has grown to be the third largest confectionery company in the world. Sales of over 10 billion euro, over 40,000 employees working across 55 countries, 23 manufacturing facilities, and in fact 3 of those being social enterprises, which are known as the Michele Ferrero entrepreneurial projects, and they operate in Asia and Africa.
So why did Ferrero decide to set up a plant outside Europe?
Well, it's interesting because actually here we are in Lithgow today, and this was the first factory actually established outside of Europe by Ferrero. And Michele Ferrero, I can't speak for the man's genius, but he liked the regional locations for his factories. Climate is obviously very good for us with it being a confectionery manufacturer here in Lithgow. And it was this association with being in a town. Alba is a town of 30,000 people. So here we are with a strong regional presence here in Australia.
So what are Ferrero's core business values?
Ferrero has some very strong values and they actually run throughout the organisation. We talk of words such as loyalty and trust. And that can be embodied in Ferrero terms by thinking of the relationship between you as a producer of great products and your consumer. And there's a mutual relationship that I'm expecting this product to be really, really good. And there's a trust relationship, and this is where we talk about with loyalty and trust. The second thing we talk about is respect and responsibility. We talk about respect in terms of to people and to planet and the responsibilities that go with that. In fact, we have our corporate social responsibility report that outlines all of those commitments that we're working in those areas. We talk about integrity in how we operate. We talk in terms of entrepreneurship, and the story of Michele Ferrero is a remarkable one. His visions in the way he thought and worked cascade through the organisation, as does the other principles, which are a passion for research and innovation, and also this creed, this principle of work, create, donate, which sounds much better in Italian, lavorare, creare, donare.
Ferrero is one of Lithgow's major employers, and there's plenty of work to go around.
We also make the iconic Tic Tac, which is a big brand around this area.
Yeah.
And if you put the Tic Tac on the floor, it would stretch all the way from Sydney to Dubai in terms of the length, 12,000 kilometres.
That's a lot of Tic Tacs. Managing Director Chris Blackwell credits the long tenure of staff to Ferrero's core business values.
We recruit about 100 to 150 people, depending on the type of the year. We have a great workforce here. I've been here a year now. We look after our workforce very well. Our length of service is about average 10 years. Yeah. We even have one person, Caroline Luca, who's literally in Alba now, been here 40 years, and has had the pleasure of going to meet Giovanni Ferrero to shake his hand for long service.
So do the free trade agreements with New Zealand and Asia assist your operations here in Lithgow?
They will be doing, for sure. As all of the on-costs associated with importation and movement of goods both ways, as we're also sending product out as well as bringing product in, and all of the associated materials that we work with, absolutely. The benefits of free trade and being able to do business as efficiently and effectively as possible in this region can only make us stronger.
So you've been concentrating on reducing the environmental footprint here in Lithgow. What about the rest of New South Wales?
Well, that's true. We're reducing the environmental also impact, the fact that here we are in Lithgow and we use Australian sugar and Australian milk in our Australian-made Tic Tac and Australian-made Nutella. And we're actually creating a new hazelnut industry here in Australia in the Riverina, just out of Narrandera. And the story of that is really interesting in that, yes, Ferrero, I think it would be fair to say, is the largest user of hazelnuts in the world when we talk Nutella and Ferrero Rocher. So with 70% of the world's crop of hazelnuts coming from Turkey alone, and then most of that surrounding regions contributing to most of the world's supply of hazelnuts, Ferrero sought to create counter-seasonal fresh supply coming from the southern hemisphere. So they identified latitudinal bands of where you could possibly develop and cultivate hazelnuts. It started in Chile as the first experiment. We've taken that model and we've brought that to Australia.